friends, it's Mrs. Beals. We're here today to learn two properties of multiplication that will help you find products. The first property is called the identity property of multiplication. The identity property just says that if you multiply a factor by 1, it's going to be the other factor, okay? Here's an example. 7 times 1. If you multiply by 1, it's always the other factor. Here's the other factor, 7. So guess what the answer is? 7. Okay? Look at this one. 6 times 1 equals 6. Well, if you multiply by 1, the answer is always the other factor. The other factor is 6, so the answer is 6. The way I remember this property is the number 1 kind of looks like this letter I up here. So the I property, or the identity property, is the property that says when you multiply by 1, it's the other number. Remember, the I looks like the 1. This one's my favorite. This is the 0 property. And the 0 property multiplication just says if you multiply by 0, the product is 0 every time. Here's an example. 0 times 5, guess what it equals? 0. 5 times 0, guess what it equals? 0. 0 times 8, guess what it equals? 0. So look, every time you multiply by 0, it could be 1,000,000 times 0. The product is always going to be 0. So let's do a few practice problems with our robot lady friend. Let's see, where is she? She's not there. Where is she at? Here she is. Let me erase before I start it. We're going to practice with her. I think it's her. It might be the guy this time. Some examples of this property.
There are 5 groups. There is 1 counter in each group. How many counters are there in all? Example. Step 1. Count the groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 groups.
Okay, 5 groups. So our first factor is 5. We know that for sure.
Step 2. Count the counters in the groups. There is 1 counter in each group. So, there are 5 counters in all. Step 3. Write the multiplication sentence to find how many counters there are in all. Number of groups multiplied by the number of counters in each group equals the number of counters in all.
How many groups are there? Type your answer.
How many groups, guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 groups. Okay.
That's right. The correct answer is 5.
There are 5 groups.
How many counters are there in each group? Type your answer.
How many counters in each group? There's just 1 in each group. So now we have 5 times 1. This is the identity property. Any factor that's times 1, that's multiplied by 1, is the other factor. Okay? Let me erase so she didn't get mad at me.
That's right. The correct answer is 1.
There is 1 counter in each group.
So how many counters are there in all? Type your answer.
How many in all? Well, 1 times 5. There's 5 in all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's right. The correct answer is 5.
5 times 1 equals 5. So there are 5 counters in all. Suppose there are 3 groups with 0 counters in each group. How many counters are there in all? Count the groups. 1, 2, 3. There are 3 groups. Count the counters in the groups. There are no counters in any group.
Write the multiplication sentence. Type your answers.
All right, it's our time now. We've got number of groups. We have 3 groups. How many counters in each group? Zip, 0. So how much is that in all? Well, the zero property says anything times 0 is 0. And look, there's none in these counters. There's no counters in these models. So that's a big 0. So 3 times 0 should be 0.
That's right. These are the correct answers.
3 times 0 equals 0. So there are 0 counters.
Math idea. The product of 1 and any number equals that number. The product of 0 and any number equals 0. What is 498 times 1?
All right, guys.
Click the arrow to select your answer.
Let's talk about it first. Any number times 1 is the other number. So the other number is 498. So guess what our answer is? 498, exactly. That's the identity property.
That's right. The correct answer is 498. What is 498 times 0? Click the arrow to select your answer.
The 0 property says any number times 0 is 0. So that means our answer is 0.
That's right. The correct answer is 0. Find the product. Click your answer.
All right. So the product is how many total counters in all. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 counters, so that the product is definitely 4. Remember, the identity property says any number times 1 is always the other number. Our other number is 4, so our answer is 4.
That's right. Find the product. Click your answer.
Any number times 0 is 0. And look, there's nothing to count. There's 5 groups with nothing in each group. So 5 times 0 has to be 0. That's the 0 property.
That's right. Find the product. Click your answer.
1, so I've got 1 group times 3 with 3 in each group. Well, what's my product? My product is 1, 2, 3 because that's what I have total. The identity property says any number times 1 is the other number. The other number is 3. So my answer is 3.
That's right.
Multiply.
Okay.
Type your answer.
Any number times 1 is the other number. The other number in this equation is 2. Any number times 0 is 0, so the product is 0. Any number times 1 is the other number. The other number is 6. Any number times 0 is 0. Any number times 1 is the other number, which is 9. 0 times 0, well, anything multiplied by 0 is 0. 0 times 7, anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Multiply 4 by 1. By means the same thing as times. So when you see 4 by 1, know that that's the same thing as 4 times 1. And any number multiplied by 1 is this other number. So our answer is going to be 4. Okay? 1 times 8, any number times 1 is the other number, which is 8. Oops, I can't write it in. I got to click it in. Ooh, quiz time, guys. I hope we're ready.
Multiply.
0 times
Type
5.
your answer.
Any number times 0 is 0. Any number times 1 is the other number. The other number is 3. Find the product, that means multiply. Product is the answer to a multiplication sentence of 0 and 8. Well, that just means 0 times 8 will get me the product, which is right here. Product is always the answer to multiplication. Okay, any number times 0 is 0. Okay, now I've got 0 times 6. Any number times 0 is 0. Send your answers to me. Yes, we'll send
Good
it.
job.
Yay! We know the zero property and the identity property. Remember, guys, the zero property says anything times zero is zero. It could be 4 trillion times zero. The product is still zero. Identity property says any factor times 1 is always the other factor. So if you have 1 million times 1, well, the product's going to be 1 million because that's the other factor. You guys did a great job. I'm so proud. I'll see you soon.